What's up, guys? Been a while. Been pretty busy lately. Life's been changing a lot. As you know, some of you may know I moved recently. And it's just been wild. It's been a lot. But I wanted to make a video today. I especially wanted to talk about how to actually plan and get things done. So, there's a problem that we have as people with ADHD, or autism, neurodivergence in general, schizo, like these things, where we just have so much like going on in our brains that we want to do, that we want to achieve for today and the next day and the next couple of years, and it's like we're highly ambitious. There's no way we can achieve all of this with the amount of executive dysfunction that we've already proven, basically. And yet, we want to do it. So, that's what my whole thing is about. That's what my coaching is about, is like, how do we actually achieve these incredible things that we can think of doing, that we really want to do, and how do we do it? And the most important thing is just dialing into your generalism, like so hard. Dialing into your generalism, because you're already naturally a generalist, right? Some of you may be specialists, and that's great. If you have that, just dial it in, because this is a productivity principle, is whatever you kind of have already, you do it with all your might. You dial that in to an extreme. And by extreme, we mean 75%. That's another principle. 75% is good enough. So if you have a specific thing, do that specific thing at 75%. But if you're a generalist, that's going to make life a little more difficult, but the key strength of generalists is that you can do anything. Right? You're good at anything and everything. You can learn it quickly, and you can use all the skills from over here and over here and over here, and you can weave them together, thread them together, and it's good, it's valuable. So, speccing into your generalism, dialing into your generalism. How do we do that? Through first principles. Figuring out foundationally what is true across multiple domains. And I'm going to give you the most basic domain. It's logic and information. If you figure out how logic and information and productivity work, you figured it out. Like, that has made every other domain so much easier. Okay? So, how do we actually get shit done every day? It's very simple. It comes down to a few things. So, one, actually, really, it's so stupidly simple. You just have to make a list. Oh, just make a list? That's bullshit. Like I have never tried that before, Damien. Yeah, I know, but seriously, if you make a list just for the things you could do today, and then organize the list by the order that you should do them in, that changes your fucking life if you just do that every day. Because, like, even if you get distracted halfway through the list, you got halfway through the list. If you're not bounded, if you don't have any instructions, you're just going to float around through the day randomly. Okay. But that's not the huge, mind-blowing, revelatorily whatever, right? That's boring. So, even though that's literally what you need. So the list is so important. Having that list every day, but let's take it further. You want to organize your life in terms of operations. You want to treat your life like a military conquest. That's what you want to treat it like. It's a military conquest. All of your goals are enemies, right? And everything that gets in the way of achieving that goal is like an enemy that gets in your way. And you have to have this vicious mindset of, oh, today my enemies are trying to kill my dreams. So what am I going to do? I'm going to kill them. That's it. And in this example, killing them is just like ruthlessly being like, oh, wow, I don't get my dream if I don't do this, so I'm doing it. And then you just do it. And that's it. And understand that doing this is how you become happy. Like, if you're not working on things that you care about, if you're not actually achieving goals, you're not going to be happy. That sounds like such a fucking no-brainer, but I got to remind you guys, like, if you're depressed right now and you're not working on anything, that's why you're depressed. You need to be working on something. You need to be doing something with your time that's going to be valuable to you or other people, right? Especially if it's other people. That'll energize you, right? But in order to do this, you have to organize things as operations. Now, guess what? You're not always going to, how do I say this? Organizing your life as operations does not mean you're going to finish every single operation. You can start an operation, but by the way, if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist, okay? You need to write it down. This is a rule just foundationally. I'm not even just talking about tasks and like missions and things like that, goals. I literally mean like anything that's in your head doesn't fucking exist. Wow. Who would have thought? But it's like, what that means, guys, is like you cannot identify with potential. And if you're going to, it at least has to be potential that's written down, right? Or it at least has to be potential that has a minimum viable product, a prototype, something that you can show for it. Okay, so if your identity is based around all of your potential, which for a lot of us it is, I was very criminally bad about this, and I still am. I'm trying to get better. But it doesn't exist until it exists. Like, for example, you can't say, oh, I've got money coming in. Everything's going to be okay. I got money coming in. Until the money is in your hand, you don't have the money. And we, as ADHD, we love living in the future because it's so much easier. It's so much easier and so much more exciting and so much more stimulating. It's so fucking boring to be in the present and do the boring shit that you need to do every day to actually get ahead in life. Like, guys, it's boring. But we need to build up. Okay. You need to work around your neurodivergence. That is so key, that is so important. But something that irritates me is like we're talking about foundations and foundational things here, right? The foundational thing of effort is not going to change. The foundational fact that you're going to have to do boring shit that you don't want to do, that's not going to change. We can make it easier through leverage and through playing the game smarter, through being a better strategist, being a better tactician, and understanding how our system works and how we can make it more compatible with our world, right? But you're still going to have to do boring shit that you don't want to do every single day. And that's just how it is. Now, what makes it exciting is the list. And that sounds funny. Like, what? How does that make it exciting? You make that list, and you go through it, and you feel so accomplished when you finish the list. That's it. You feel accomplished. Now, guess what? You're not actually going to feel accomplished. What I mean by that is you feel accomplished, and then you purposely celebrate. ADHD has this problem where we finish something, and we don't get the same level of dopamine that somebody else would for it. This is why we can work on something for years, get done with it, and then basically get no fulfillment out of it. It sucks, right? But you work on that list, and then you make it purposeful and intentional. I am going to celebrate. I am going to enjoy myself. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back, say, good job, me. Oh dear. The monitors went off. Yeah, it's still recording. Okay. So, you have to intentionally celebrate. Now, where am I going with this? Foundations. Foundationally, that's not going to go away. And so, this list is the channel that you need to channel your neurodivergence into something successful, productive, useful. Now, it's not enough. It is enough for the day-to-day, right? But the problem with ADHD is that you're stateless. What does that mean? You're stateless means you're constantly forgetting who you are and what you're doing. You're constantly forgetting your mission and starting new missions, and you have no stability in your identity and who you are and where you're going with your life. You may have a few things where it's like special interests that have stuck around or certain things, but it's like we get bored, dude, and we shake it up, right? And it's like, in order to actually live that lifestyle, you just need to be making a shitload of money. If you actually want to shake it up all the time, you need to be making so much fucking money that it's ridiculous, that you can just do whatever the hell you want, basically, right? And that's not to say you can't do whatever you want right now, but money is a constraint. So you need to make more money. And in order to do that, you need to be more productive. You need to work harder, right? And working harder is not putting in more effort. It's really this. It's choosing to do smarter things and then showing up every day. If you can do those two things, choosing to do smarter things and showing up every day, and it's the same question every single day. What is the next smartest thing that I can do? What is the next thing that's going to change my life the most? That's what you do. And your list should be comprised of those things and the boring maintenance things that you have to do. Okay? Now, as for operations, you're going to want to list this somewhere. Maybe it's in your notebook, maybe it's a journal, maybe it's on your computer, maybe it's folders, right? Maybe it's with your AI. But you basically need to make it so that when you start projects, when you start missions, when you have an aspiration or a goal, you need to list it down so that later you can audit it. Because once you have too many projects, you're going to have to look at it and be like, okay, which one of these am I going to do first? You have to prioritize. And then you pick that one, and then that is what should consume your life. That becomes the next needle mover. And that's it. So I'm going to give you an example. Right now I'm building a software ecosystem. That's what I'm doing. And every day I get home, I immediately get on the computer and I start working on the software ecosystem. And I'm excited to see where it goes. And that brings fire to me every single day because there's enough new stuff going on in there where I can be doing things and I can start projects within that project, and that's great. However, there's an MVP, and that MVP is I want to build a full distro, a full functioning distro, and I want it to be minimal. If you don't know what that means, you don't need to know what that means. All that really matters is that I have a target and it's written down, and there's other targets that are written down, like things with Flowforge, things with my phone, like there's other things written down, right? I also want to build a tech ecosystem beyond just the software, right? And so I have a lot of goals. I have a lot of goals and a lot of things. I have more than I could ever possibly achieve. I'm just going to be honest. I have way more goals than I could ever reasonably possibly achieve. However, through this writing it down and then auditing it, and then writing it down and auditing it every single day, and then these bigger projects, which we're going to call missions, right? You have a mission, you have a goal, right? And then even beyond that, campaigns. I've got campaigns listed. But guess what? They have to come in an order too. And I'm constantly auditing those. Not constantly. You shouldn't be constantly auditing your campaigns. But so far I've got locked into I want to do something with software and like computer science research, and I know I want to build Flowforge, and I know that I want to help people with ADHD and autism. So this is what I want to do. I want to help neurodivergent people get their shit together and achieve greatness. Those are the campaigns. It's those two. So why I'm saying all of this is because I find that this organizing in terms of operations, right? I'm going to do an operation. I'm going to do a mission. I'm going to do a campaign. This has been very, very helpful for me. And having this militant mindset of wake up every day, go kick ass, make it a challenge. What are you going to do? Are you going to fight back? Absolutely, you're going to fight back. And then, when you have an enemy, there was something that they used to say in the martial arts that I went to. It was, every day you're not training, your enemy is. And that's true, guys. Unfortunately, the march of time is happening. It's happening right now. Everything that you're working towards could just change. We got AI coming, right? AI is crazy. I'm sorry, but people are in denial about how good AI is getting. As somebody who does agent-driven development, mostly, I think that people just they're not flexible enough mentally with it yet. They're still a bit too rigid. They still don't really understand what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. It's a skill to work with AI, right? But it's not a hard skill to learn. And maybe if you guys want videos on that, I could teach you, right? But it's just different, and you can make some incredible shit. You can make some incredible stuff with AI, okay? So it's that's changing the game, and tech is changing so rapidly, and tech makes you more productive. So that's literally what technology is. It's something that increases human productivity. It's a stack of tools that increases leverage, right? So, and opens up possibilities, which is flexibility, which gives you power. Optionality bypasses bottlenecks. Remember that. So, I feel like this has turned into a little bit of a ramble. I really should have made a list to do this video. Normally I would, but I seem to have forgotten this time. Maybe I'll have to put a sticky note on my monitor. So, that's all I really got for you guys today. Make a list every day, organize your life in operations, audit those operations, and prioritize. You make a list, and then you make another list of what you're actually going to do, in the order you're actually going to do it. That is the key thing, and you do this at every scope of your life, okay? Even when you're working on an individual task. You could be working on an individual task, and it's oh my gosh, there's multiple tasks within this task. What do I do? You make a fucking list. And then you prioritize the list by making another list. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I played too much. It's good, guys. You got this. We've got this. See you on the flip side. Hey, like and subscribe.